Let's talk about The Long Walk, the long-anticipated adaptation of the Stephen King book of the same name, starring Cooper Hoffman, David Jonsson, Garrett Wareing, also Ben Wang, Judy, Greer, and Mark Hamill from LIONSGATE Pictures. As always, this review will be spoiler-free, but if you prefer to see the film in its entirety before hearing any commentary about it, please feel free to close this out. I would ask that you drop a like before you do, then come on back and watch this once you've seen the movie. If after that open you may be thinking to yourself, well, I'm not really a Stephen King fan, or I haven't read the book, or I'm not a fan of horror and the commercials are sort of selling this as a horror movie, don't dismiss The Long Walk just yet. It is beautifully acted, it is beautifully shot, and it represents a triumph of sorts in terms of logistics for director Francis Lawrence. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is that The Long Walk is, as a story, exactly what the title says it is. Okay? It is a group of boys, of teenagers, 49 of them, and that number's important, 49 of them just walking, and they're being guided by men with guns. If they try to leave the road, they die. If they stop walking, or they start walking slower than a certain pace, they slow down or they stop, they're warned, and if they don't start moving again, they die. That's all that happens. And so if you can imagine the challenge of a filmmaker to make that visually interesting over an hour and 45 minutes or 2 hours, okay? They're just walking and they're talking. They're connecting with one another because these boys don't know one another at the start of the story, but by the end, they have formed a brotherhood. They have formed this bond through the worst, the most horrific of trials. And that's where the strength of this film is. Lawrence does find ways to keep things visually interesting, although he makes some choices that I'm not crazy about. I'll get to those later. The true strength here is in the performances of the actors and their dialogue, the script, which I think in the future is going to be an absolute goldmine for young actors looking for monologues in order to audition for other work. Some performances I want to highlight: Cooper Hoffman, the son of the late actor Philip Seymour Hoffman, also British actor David Jonsson. They are the two leads, and they get the most lines, the juiciest dialogue. So they're hard to miss, but that doesn't mean their performances aren't noteworthy. Someone who doesn't get as much screen time, but you may recognize his face. I did, but I couldn't tell from where until I looked him up. Ben Wang, who earlier this year was the young man who was the lead actor in Karate Kid Legends, appearing alongside Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. I did mention there were a few choices in terms of how the film is made that I didn't necessarily agree with. One of them was the decision to shoot almost the whole thing through a color leaching filter. It's all very drained of color, and it just adds to the bleakness of this story in so many ways. Also, there is very little variety in terms of the camera shots that we get of the boys walking. Again, I said this is a tremendous logistical challenge, and I think Francis Lawrence deserves a lot of credit for how he tackles it, but it can get a little monotonous, but maybe that's on purpose because the walk is monotonous. So those are a few minor things, but overall, I think everyone involved in this production deserves a lot of credit. I think this one is going to get some attention come awards time. I'm going to stop there. The Long Walk is rated R for strong scenes of violence, gore, disturbing images. Please keep that in mind if you are bringing younger audiences. The film is from LIONSGATE Pictures. It arrives in theaters on September 12th. You can find more Film Buff Unplugged reviews and videos on Substack. Just head to fbunplugged.substack.com and subscribe for free. That way you won't miss a single post. We also have a channel on YouTube. Head to youtube.com/@FilmBuffUnplugged, all one word. Please give us a like on Facebook, and if you're on TikTok, you can find my review videos and more by searching for @FelixAlbuerne Jr., all one word. Thanks for watching.